After the 2012 election, Republican leaders stressed the need to reach out to the Hispanic and minority communities. As the RNC gets ready for the July convention in Cleveland, they've named Wyoming Senator John Barrasso to head the committee writing the party's 2016 platform. He's drawn a line in the sand for Donald Trump, saying, quote, "No presidential candidate has ever fully embraced the platform, but we expect absolute acceptance of it." So joining me now to break down the landscape, President of Latino Partnership for Conservative Principles, Alfonso Aguilar. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Before we look forward, I want to take a step back and look at the 2012. There was a GOP Growth and Opportunity Project released. It was almost 100 pages on all the things that the GOP can do better to reach out to the Hispanic community and other minorities. Fast forward to today, we're looking at another election. Have they taken any of those recommendations and have they come to fruition? Have we seen them?
Absolutely. I was part of some of those conversations. I think Reince Priebus should be commended for the work that he has done to engage the Hispanic community. The RNC is doing a great job in establishing key contacts in battleground states to get Latino support. And we saw results in 2004, specifically Cory Gardner, for example, in Colorado, a state where the Latino vote is decisive. Cory Gardner, a good conservative, who was constructive on immigration. He did very well with Latinos. So I think that the RNC has done as much as it can. The question here is, what has changed everything is certainly Donald Trump. So you may have a great infrastructure to promote your candidate, but if the candidate's not likable, if Latinos reject them, you're going to have a hard time selling him to the Latino community. The question is, at this point, they are rejecting Donald Trump, but can Donald Trump change the tone of his comments on immigration and his positions and perhaps become competitive with Latinos?
Perfect segue to my next question, and I want to play a soundbite from him this week, so if you could listen in kindly. He was talking about the Latina governor of New Mexico, Susana Martinez. Take a listen, and I want to get your reaction.
We have to get your governor to get going. She's got to do a better job, okay?
Okay, so we hear there, and you had actually addressed this shortly before, but is this him hitting on do Hispanics necessarily, are they offended by this type of comment?
No, not at all. And to try to say that Hispanics are offended because she's Latina, it's the worst kind of pandering. And it could backfire for Democrats if they continue that line of, oh, he's offending a Latina. Look, I thought it was silly. He's going after Susana Martinez because she didn't show up at that rally and she hasn't endorsed him. That's it, but not because she's Latina.
Yeah, he's an equal, he has always said he's an equal opportunity, if you will.
Look, I think Democrats don't understand that they don't have a hold on the Latino vote. And Latinos understand that both parties have played politics with them. It's a very sophisticated electorate, and as we look at the polling, some of the polling that has been done even by Fox shows that while Trump is in the 20s, Hillary Clinton is in the low 60s.
Yeah, not at the same poll up, the one that you're speaking about.
Not at the same level as Barack Obama. So, they have questions about her.
There you have 62% for Clinton, 23%. So what you're saying is that she's not necessarily the best alternative.
Exactly. They're not flocking to Hillary Clinton. So, and that presents an opportunity for Donald Trump if he's able to pivot and try to attract Latino voters with a more constructive tone and position on immigration. And I think he actually has left the door open for that. When he talks about the undocumented, he says that he wants them to go back, but then he wants the good people to come back to the U.S. Well, what if we were open to have an internal touchback, that Mexican immigrants could go to their consulate, register, and then give them a path to legal status within the country? Something like that would be very acceptable to Latinos. So, look, I think Donald Trump has an opportunity, but I think those changes and that changing tone needs to happen right now. Publicly, I've denounced him when he made that comment about Mexican immigrants. I've denounced his positions. I'm not ready to support him or vote for him, but he needs to do some work. But he's a force of nature, so it could happen, and he could become competitive with Latino voters. He's certainly changing how we think about politics, and certainly
in every way.
In every way, even with Latinos.
Well, Alfonso, thank you so much for joining us. I wish we had more time to talk about the convention, but thank you for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.